Fall Guy is a good movie and a great way to spend a few hours. Fall Guy is that classic romantic action comedy, the type of film that doesn't ask too much of its audience and it delivers fun visuals and jokes the whole family can enjoy. It's led by two well-known and liked actors in Ryan Gosling and Emily Blunt, with director David Leitch, who holds a reputation for fun action films. Most recently Bullet Train, which you probably know him from Deadpool 2. It is the full package. However, it bombed. Despite its financial disappointment, I wholeheartedly recommend this movie, and I'm giving it 7 out of 10, indicating it's worth watching. You'll have a great time if you're a fan of the director's other movies, or films like Mr. and Mrs. Smith, the Lethal Weapon franchise, or Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. While it may not have performed well at the box office, I am confident that The Fall Guy will find its audience on streaming and bring joy for many years. Instead of a deep dive into the story, as it's what you expect, I want to discuss why The Fall Guy fell flat. Hollywood insiders have argued that the budget was too high for the film to break even. This argument might have some merit, but I don't think it's the full story. A movie, like any venture, should be conscious of what a target market will spend and ensure the cost of producing is worth the return. The budget was reported at $130 million, which for a blockbuster these days is not crazy high. Yes, it might be too much for a blockbuster in general, and across the industry, costs should be cut. But the price tag doesn't explain why a once classic formula for a successful film couldn't put bums in seats at the local cinema. It couldn't create a network effect of cinema goers coming to see the film, having a good time, and telling their friends to go along as well. I believe the financial failure of The Fall Guy drills down to 4 things, which were primarily out of control of the filmmakers. Number 1, too many bad experiences at the movies. In recent years, going to see blockbusters has sucked. The experience is far more costly than ever before, and the quality of the productions has declined to the point that most big films are unwatchable. Movies as an entertainment option have turned people off. Unfortunately for Universal Studios, which made this movie, a lot of the damage has been done by their competitor studios, primarily Disney, but Warner Brothers is guilty of product decline too. A string of poor experiences means people want to avoid the drive to the cinema, spending the money, and then that horrible feeling of not having had a good time. Film as a product needs urgent attention to return consumer confidence. Number 2, trailer skepticism. Trailers as a marketing means for films are almost dead. Consumers are used to seeing great film trailers set to rock music that suggest a particular story that is not what the movie ends up being about. There are some very talented trailer makers out there with a clear vision for what audiences want, and they can cut this together very well. Sadly, they're not running the broader production. The foremost example for me would have been the Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker. The trailer had me in tears. The movie had me in rage. Or Thor, Love and Thunder. The trailer made me feel like this was going to be fun, and the movie just made me feel sorry for Christian Bale. While it did put bums in seats, the subversion of the truth in trailers have left audiences skeptical and less influenced by this means of marketing. Number 3, movie PR has become garbage. Sending actors out to promote films and talk shows on the web doesn't work anymore. As in trailer skepticism, people don't trust it. Plus, in the case of talk shows, many people no longer watch them, with viewership seeming to drop every year. Consumers see through the studio-provided talking points the actors share, and talk show hosts usually don't push back out of fear that they will alienate themselves from getting future A-list guests. Either consciously or unconsciously, the outcome is that consumers do not trust, and the impact of this press is therefore downplayed. The only place I think this still works is Deadpool, where Ryan Reynolds' appearances add to the overall story, as he will go out in costume, character, and perform. With a Deadpool movie around the corner, it will be interesting to see if this is still true here. And number 4, too much content. The competition for eyeballs is very high now. More shows and movies are available to consumers than ever before through streaming, plus all the other things people can do, such as gaming or spend time on social media. Tom Hanks talked about YouTube recently as a risk to the traditional entertainment industry, as people now have the ability to be entertained for free 24/7. Though I think platforms like TikTok and Instagram pose a more considerable risk to film. Social media provides fast dopamine and an interactive experience for users, which is far easier to digest than watching a movie for several hours. Social media platforms, to compete with each other for attention, find ways to provide content to users quicker and encourage things like stories, which are optimized for mobile screens. The platforms have worked out that quantity of short content keeps people on their platforms for longer. It's super fast to get out of watching something you want to avoid seeing on social media. It's much more complicated trying to get out of watching a bad movie you're already seeing at the cinema. If I could point to just one of the 4 reasons for the most significant impact, it would be the decline in the general quality of films. 2020 to 2024 was the worst possible time in the industry's history to allow quality to fall as much as it has. Hopefully we see a turnaround and trust return so that studios keep making films like The Fall Guy. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I will see you in the next video.